This will be a tutorial showing how to have a GitHub workflow that works with ClickUp and GitHub and that we are using in Crosslink. For the purposes of this tutorial, I created two tasks and I will use the sample task 2 as an example of what a GitHub workflow should look like. So in theory, we pretend that sample task 2 is something that needs to be done on the project. And let's say I go to the repository where this project is being worked on. And in this case, I'm just going to make some changes to the README file as an example. So first of all, in terms of branches, I'm currently checking out the main branch, and this is not good. I should never work directly on the main branch, because whatever is on the main branch is going to get deployed to the server. So instead of that, I should be working on my own branch, which I called Bruno. And then I can start making changes. So let's say I make one change 1, and then I commit it, but this is only work in progress. I'm not yet done. So I say work in progress, change. And then let's say I make another change, blah, 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 and then make another commit, and so on. Now the point is that we do not want to have these dirty commits in our commit history, but you should be committing frequently as you do work so that you do not accidentally lose any of your work. Now let's say I make one final change, and this final change completes the task, and I say task completed. Right. So now, once the task has been completed, I need to deploy my changes to the main branch. The way I do this is I go check out the main branch, and then I do a squash merge of the Bruno branch. Now I am using Emacs and Magit in order to do this, and here it is very easy. But if you're using some other tool like VS Code or PHP Storm, you can look up the documentation for how to do a squash merge. And you can also look up Git documentation for how to do a squash merge. But in this case, I just select the branch which I want to squash, and the changes are all going to show up as staged, and they're all going to be one change. And then what I can do is I can make a commit. Now, very importantly, in the commit message, I should say I have completed sample task 2 or something like that. But then the important thing is that in ClickUp, there is this task ID. And you should include the task ID somewhere in the commit message. And this is going to link this commit to the ClickUp task. So now I commit this and I push this change onto main. And let's wait for that to finish. There we go. Now, in theory, ClickUp should automatically pick up the fact that I have pushed a commit that has this ID. However, we are currently having an issue where the GitHub integration doesn't work properly. I have submitted a support request. So hopefully we will work that out. But as you can see, even though the change is pushed here, you can see it, ClickUp does not pick it up. So what we have to do for now, until we get this working, is we have to manually link this commit. So we select the repository, we select the main branch, and then we select the commit. And then that is done. And now we have linked the commit. And once the task is completed, you move the ticket into in review. And then when I am reviewing the code, what I am able to do is simply go into these GitHub commits, and I can click on the commit and automatically see all of the changes that have been made, which makes it easy for me to review the code that is made in order to implement a certain feature. Now, after you have completed the task and put it in review, you have something which might be considered a problem. So if we look into the Git log, you see that you now have this Bruno branch, which is kind of hanging out there. It is not merged with main, so you cannot really use it properly. So what you do is you check out your branch again, and you do a hard reset of your branch. And once again, you can look into the Git documentation for how to do a hard reset. But you do a hard reset of your branch to main, and then you're going to have to do a force push of your branch upstream if you made any kind of pushes earlier, so that your branch is updated. And once you have done that, the work is considered completed, and then you can continue and make other changes as necessary, and you can work on other tickets in the same way. And that is all for the GitHub workflow in Crosslink.